Ooh, okay. All right.
What up? What up?
Yeah, man, he's already busting out the tunes.
The same system I use for this microphone. It's all through my DJ mixer,
Yeah.
and so I got my turntables, my Serato, my vinyl setup all through this mixer, and my microphone.
Nice.
Yeah,
How you doing, man?
super good, dude.
All
Beautiful,
right.
blessed, holy days. These past couple of weeks, and just been enjoying all of it.
There you go. And good to have you on, though, man.
Whereas my podcast is an excellent program. I'm honored to be a part of it.
Yes. Yes, that is right, y'all. You're tuning in to Where's My Damn Podcast, and I got a very special guest on the line. I'm glad he was able to take some time to hang out with us. But before we get into that, like I said, Where's My Damn Podcast? Thank you to all the listeners that are tuning in wherever you are. It could be here in our um, country of America, or wherever you're listening right now. It could be international. It could be Canada. It could be France, Japan, whatever. I mean, shit. Welcome. Thank you for listening.
Welcome all. Welcome all.
Yes, yes. So yeah. Like I said, be sure to share the podcast. We're gonna well, I'm gonna keep continuing to try to bring more and more content, whether it's music related or comedy, whatever the case may be. I'm gonna try to keep continuing to put stuff out. But like I said, subscribe to the podcast, share it, like it, comment, review it, whatever the case may be, man. We want that support. Support your boy. So, yeah. But enough of all that. Enough of all that nonsense and me rambling. Like I said, I got a very special guest, and he's coming all the way from Sacramento, California. California, excuse me. Yes,
916.
yeah, 916. Yeah, the homie. I got my man, DJ Mike Colossal.
Yeah, thank you, Elvin. It's an honor to be on Where's My Damn Podcast. Long time listener, first time interview.
Yeah, yeah, buddy. Yeah. Thank you. Um, how are you? How are you doing? Are you enjoying your holidays? How's everything with you?
Yeah, without getting into too much detail, I was definitely looking forward not just to the holidays, but just the time off from work as well.
Mm-hmm.
I work a lot with people living in homelessness at shelters, and I help them get the services they need after hearing their story. But man, the people have been going through so much. The stories have been overwhelming. So I needed a break, to rest my mind and my thoughts, be
Yeah.
with my loved ones, and then heal up so I could get back out there and support the people who really need a lot of support, especially this time of year.
There you go. There it is. There it is. Well, let's fucking get into it, bro.
Yeah.
I've known you in recent years. I've seen you around at the various DJ functions, different sessions, and DJ battles.
Yeah.
And you're always a standout dude. Man, I respect you as a person, and just continuing as far as what you're doing as well. Like DJing and doing community work as well. So yeah, man. But let's like I said, let's get into it. How did it all began for you as a DJ?
Yeah. It's a lot of it, I don't know if this is just the turntablist scratch scene, but a lot of it was bedroom DJing, for a long time. Even before I had any gear, I would have all the CDs. My pops was really big on, not buying us toys or clothes, but music. He was always down to get us music. So I would be in my room with my little CD player, radio, cassette combo boombox, and I would just play CD after CD, announcing them to myself as if I was in a radio show. Because Sacramento had, shows in the late 80s, early 90s, like Quad 1065, 98.5, Power 101. A lot of DJs like Billy Lane and Eddie Abdul had radio stations. And so radio was my first introduction to DJing, and that's what I would practice. And then around sixth grade, we got my pops' old radio, like stereo system, and a couple of CD players, portable Discmans and a mixer. And we started doing house parties, for our sixth grade house parties and stuff like that. And then it was around the age of, I was probably in the seventh grade when my brother went to high school and someone offered to sell him turntables. And we were like, oh, yeah, dude, let's do it. Because our grandma, when she raised us, she would always play records like the La Bamba soundtrack. And we couldn't touch the records, but we were always fascinated, making those sounds. We were talking about zippers, zipping the zipper up and down,
Yeah, yeah.
anything.
Man, I used to do that all the time.
I mean, it's accurate, back and forward motion with that, sound. It like kind of primed us.
Yeah.
So when my brother said this guy can sell us turntables, we're like, oh yeah. So, they were like, Newmark makes, let's say, functional and usable turntables now. They're not, top of the line, but back then it was like a plastic case with like a flimsy needle and you'd have to put pennies on it. But we made it work. We mixed, we scratched. We learned so much on those until I would say I was 14. So maybe like 3 or 2 years later, my brother Chris let me work at his screen shop. And I was working under the table, making window and door screens 12 hours a day in a, over 100-degree warehouse, because that's how Sacramento summers get. And I was making $350 a week under the table cash. So by the end of that summer, we got two 1200s. We got the top of the line scratch mixer at the time called the Vestax Mix Stick. I think that was the 06. Mm-hmm. And needles and vinyl galore. I still can't forget the look on my stepmom's face the first time I, as a 14-year-old, purchased $250 worth of records. She nearly lost her shit. But I still have those records to this day, so that just goes to show how much music and DJing has always been a part of my life, even before I was like solidified as this is what I want to do for the rest of my life, or with the rest of my life. Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's what's up, man. I know, like, when I got first started, yeah, it was, everything was just so new, and like you just want to grab everything. You want to buy the records, go digging, buy the next equipment, whatever was available at that time.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, it's awesome, man. It's an awesome feeling to just like get your hands on whatever you can get. What so in high school, were you already doing gigs? Were you guys were you rocking the house parties during that time?
Yeah, it was definitely more house party. And actually, some events were like school related. Like in eighth grade, I DJ'd my eighth grade graduation party, and we were playing joints like Fat Boy Slim's, Funk Soul Brother, and Still DRE. Those kind of came out around the same time. So we were spinning that house parties, school parties, school talent shows. Even in high school, there's some videos of me, my brother Rob Fatal, DJ Drew, and DJ Predacon out of Sacramento. He's in San Diego now, all doing turntablist routines, and nobody knew what the F we were doing. They pulled the cord on us because they thought we were just making noise.
Yeah.
But
Rob Fatal, you mentioned Rob Fatal. That's your brother?
Yeah, it's my brother. Yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah, I remember I met him. I believe at some of the battles, like when I used to go up to SAC and stuff. So
Yeah.
I've seen him here and there. You know, I didn't know that was your brother.
Yeah, brother. And
That's what's up.
and you bring up a good point. Although I was in high school, I wasn't able to do, club gigs or underground gigs because I wasn't 21 or even 18 yet. But scratch battles and DJ battles were my first real introduction into DJing. Um,
Okay,
I think it was like freshman year or sophomore year. There was a Zulu Nation scratch battle judged by Grand Wizard Theodore, the person who invented scratching itself.
nice.
And so that was the first time you officially see DJ Colossus before it ended up being Mike Colossal.
Yeah.
That's the first time you see me use that name. That's the first official battle that I trained and prepared for. And then uh, there were other battles, like international ones called like DMC and ITF, but there were local ones called Guitar Center spinoff. So Guitar Center had in the late 90s and early 2000s a huge uh, selection for DJs and turntables and scratchers. So they built spin-off battles around that. So that was actually a lot of all those things combined were a lot of my, under 21, under 18 involvement in the DJ, turntablist, and hip hop community.
Man, that's what's up. Yeah, I miss those spin-off battles, man. Modesto had one out here. I mean, like Stockton is like 30 minutes from Modesto, and they used to throw the spin-off battles there. And then I even went up to the Sacramento one, I think, a couple times.
Nice.
And so yeah, I miss those, man. It was sad that they had to kind of discontinue that whole thing. But
Yeah.
those were a lot of fun. That was definitely a lot of fun. Met a lot of cool DJs
Yeah.
from the Modesto area, and as well as Sacramento area, and beyond.
And big up to Rich Wing here in Sacramento. He was the Guitar Center employee at that time who really he was connected to the hip hop scene, really knew what needed to happen to make those battles legit, and they were. DJ Snake Eyes, a DMC. I don't know if it was like a regional winner, not the national winner, but he was like a regional winner at the time, and he was at those spin-off battles.
Mhm.
Antrix, DJ Amadeus, people who were heavy hitters in the scene that I knew were better than me at that time, and still are. Um, they would join it. So it
Yeah.
was cool because you could be anybody. We were talking about this the other day. You could be anybody because DJing was everywhere at that time. For some reason, there's always like ebb and flow, popularity and decline of popularity of DJing, and that time was a huge popularity of DJing. So any fool with a parent who bought him a mixer, a needle, a record, and a turntable were could be in those battles, which was cool. But then you could also test yourself up against nationally ranked DJs. DJ Pone, I think, was even a part of those. And yeah, it was just a great experience to have that national battle setting with it was all properly set up like we were talking about, and then you get to try your stuff out. It was awesome.
Yeah, yeah. There was no I guess I guess prerequisite as far as you had to be at this level. Like it was like anyone and everyone can enter.
Yeah.
I mean, like from like you just mentioned the big name guys from the Bay Area, Northern California area. Like I even when I won the Modesto one, I believe this was in
What? I
'04.
didn't know you won that
Yeah,
one.
yeah. I won that one. I went on to the regionals, and then that man, my head exploded because um like uh like this was in Concord, so um at that time Iltrax, he was doing his thing. He was in it. Mr.
Mm,
B was in it.
mm.
And another homie from Stockton, Caustic,
Yeah.
DJ Caustic, was in it. So I was like, man, this is this was there was some heavy hitters at that time. So that was cool to see. It was a fun experience, definitely.
Yeah, and even here in Sacramento, there was an independent record store called 12's Wax, and they even put on DJ battles. That's actually where DJ Pone. I met DJ Pone from the '89 Scratch Gangsters
Yeah, yeah,
and Canned Beats. Now they have a Twitch channel, so they're still doing their thing. But that's where I first met Pone, and yeah, just there was so much flourishing hip hop at that time. Like even independent record stores could have really awesome and really well attended battles. So that was a good time. That's like late '90s up to like the mid 2000s. I would say that was a real flourishing
yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You know, everyone was yeah doing that, and the DMCs. Did you participate in the DMCs as well?
I knew I wasn't good enough for DMCs. So I just, scratch sessioned and did some local battles.
Yeah,
I just overall, like there's a certain style that wins DJ battles. And
yeah,
and that is not my style. My style is like
yeah,
a laid back ambient psychedelic, kind of style, and they like straight ahead, like you motherfucker, beep, 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 you're going down, beep, 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 like all these quick fanciful caps and not even really technical DJ moves, but just like good aesthetic sounding, routines and
yeah. Like real hip hop. Just kind of dissing
yeah,
your opponent. Real b boy type shit. Yeah,
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 and that's
yeah.
cool. I love watching it too, but as I tried to participate in it, I'm like, no, 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 I can't. The stuff I'm doing, it's not even really battling. So I'll just let them do their thing and appreciate.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Like just be a fan of it at the same time. Yeah,
I'll do a
yeah.
scratch battle though. You talked about scratch battles. You and me battled at what was that? Was that like a scratch pad type deal? I know like Kodak.
Yeah, I believe. Yeah, Scratchpad. Nocturnal. I think ended up putting that one
Oh
together. I believe.
yeah, and
Yeah, it was some. It was some years back. I forget when, but yeah, yeah. We actually went head to head.
yeah. And I love scratch battling because it's virtuosic. It's right there in your face, and I don't have to spend 8 months coming up with one routine. I could spend eight
Hmm.
months improving my overall technique and bring
Yeah.
that to a battle. So that is a battle that I still do love participating in. I love me a scratch battle and a scratch session.
Right. Right. Definitely. So coming up in the game, like what was the Sacramento scene like as far as DJ like coming up and everything.
Yeah. So I would say I certainly wasn't a part of the whole Sacramento scene. Um, you know, Sacramento is very rich in hip hop, whether it's, uh X-Rated or Brother Lynch Hung or Marvelous, the people who were making, gold records in the 90s during gangster rap, doing collabos with Tupac, so there's like that scene, and then there was like a long-standing like hip hop scene with people like the Cuff, the Cause, um, and other kind of groups like that. And then the scene I grew up with, and everyone had their own DJ, like that. Every scene had their own DJs or people who'd play the beats. But the scene that I
Yeah.
grew up with was the 12's Wax scene. And 12 Wax was the record store that I was talking about earlier that had the battles. I would work there too, and they had hip hop, they were about scratching, um, and they would put on local shows here in Sacramento with like really really underground but futuristic groups. Like there was an underground party club called Scratch 8, and I have pictures of it my brother took, and Mike Boo and Excess would be down there with like hella synths and turntables and making live music like that. And so those were the kind
Yeah.
of scenes that I grew up in, the avant-garde, independent, turntablist, hip hop
Hmm.
scene. that emphasized like scratching and turntablism, not necessarily like hip hop beats and hip hop raps, although that was a part of it. It didn't feel
Yeah.
like it was the focus. So that's what I really flourished to, even as a under like underage, under 18, 21. They would have all ages events in stores, where gift to gab would come through and sign records, in store
Mhm.
battles. And that was my scene growing up, in addition to the all the bedroom scratch DJs that you'd meet along the way and go kick it with.
Right, right. Did you happen to like were you in a crew?
Oh yeah.
First off, and then like were you running into like the DJ Nocturnals of the
Yeah.
world, like Kodak Visuals, like those cats?
Yeah. So people like Kodak, I met a lot later. Um,
Mhm.
actually, I was, well, it's tough to start. So let me just kind of start from pre DJing. So even when me and
Yeah.
my brother Rob Fatal were DJing, we'd have friends like my buddy DJ Drew, who I went to high school with. We got him into scratching, and he, of course, became better than myself, and I'm always learning from him. DJ Nocturnal was a mutual friend of Rob Fatal and I's before he DJ'd. And
Mm.
through our we were doing it all the time. So I think if people were really kicking it with us during that time, at some point they had to have been curious about doing music or being a part of it or even DJing. So yeah, so DJ Nocturnal started, after seeing us DJing, and got like, he was one of the first gigs he had was like a national tour, opening up for this dude Rascal in front of like hella crowds and stuff. So that was like how he started.
Mhm.
And we were still, bedroom DJs that I'm trying to just rank out of the, Guitar Center spin-offs into the, finals and stuff. And here's Nocturnal out the box, doing big gigs. So it was good, it was a good flourishing community. And I would say the first real crew that I was a part of was a group called Velvet Wax, and that was probably mid 2000s to late 2000s. So 2005 to 2000, no later than 11 easily. And we were in a crew called Velvet Wax. So that's me, Mike Colossal, my brother Rob Fatal, DJ Nocturnal, DJ Rated R, Luke Scratch Rocker, and DJ Drew. So once again, it
Yeah.
was like a culmination of all those homie hangouts, bedroom DJs sessioning all the time. Let's just make a crew and get some shows together so we can have a spot to perform.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So that was our first crew, Velvet Wax. But Rob Fatal was doing a lot more than just strict turntablism or strict hip hop. That was the start of Rob Fatal starting to do a lot of video experimentation along with sound. And there's just not like a hip hop venue for that. So he naturally went his own way. DJ Drew just and Luke, they just had like they were DJs, and they still are, but they have like more of their time set aside for personal life, which is 100% understandable and respectable. And then for myself, I was just, I think, finishing up grad school or in the midst of grad school, and that was just like a whole hell of a lot, because I think I was also like living in homelessness around that time too. Like I was like staying at people's spots, and I eventually got a spot of my own with student loan money. So it was like just real hectic. So the crew wasn't
Yeah.
stable like that.
Yeah.
And then it was like maybe a year after that that Sleep Rockers came about, which was Quest the Best, now Jesus Get Loose, um, Doc Jeezy, Mr.
Mhm.
Vibe,
Yeah.
DJ Nocturnal, Rated R, and then DJ ISO for like a minute. And they all had their minds, their goals all in line, and they just like tore up the spot after that. It was a great crew.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. They represented whole Sacramento scene. Obviously, Kodak with his Asthma Funk crew.
Yeah.
So yeah, you know what I'm saying. Uh, like with the Bay Area, you already had like the San Francisco, legends out
Yeah.
there, big name. Uh, DJs, obviously with the Scratch Pickles and um, Swift
Oh
Rock,
yeah. Supernatural
Shortcut.
turntable artists, beat junkies.
Yeah, yeah. And then San Jose, you got the San Jose Cats as well, you know. And then slowly but surely, like Sacramento started to, put together, a pretty good DJ
Yeah.
scene and DJ community. So that's what's up. And then, we had our shit down here too, but you know, um, like you said, shit happens. Life happens. A lot of us, we did the whole mobile DJ crew. Would kick it, yeah, and just jam and have a lot of late night scratch
Oh yeah,
sessions
a
and
lot of
stuff.
beer, a
But
lot of weed, all that.
but yeah, and so those were fun. And then at the same time, yeah, we all grow up and kind of grow apart at the same time. But like for me personally, like it's like I'll still keep in touch with a couple of the homies and
Yeah.
stuff. But it's a natural progression, we all grow up and be adults and just kind of do our own thing, so to
Yeah.
speak.
And I'm, much like you, I'm thankful that, there's still time for me to get DJing in. There's nothing more fulfilling and centering than just scratching crazy on a beat for like, 6-10 minutes, just being in the zone. So it's good
Yeah,
to
yeah,
have that, but certainly its place in our life, change as we, walk our path and move forward and grow. It certainly the spot for DJing, changes.
yeah, yeah, definitely. So at this point in time, like I've seen some stuff online, like your Instagram posts. I know we're in this current pandemic situation, but a lot of DJs uh, found the time to do
Oh
streaming
yeah.
online. As DJ, as people, we naturally have to adapt and adjust to the situation. So a lot of DJs are streaming and stuff like I mentioned, you're doing stuff online. So how did that came
Yeah.
about?
So so of course, quarantine, you can't have public events. People were trying for a minute there, and then like maybe people got like, 2 or 3 sessions of their weekly in at their new spot, and then boom, quarantine hit again. So just naturally, people
Yeah,
needed a place to have their DJ creative outlets. But things like Instagram were pretty accessible to a lot of people. Facebook Live were accessible to a lot of people. Um, I didn't really see a lot of DJs doing YouTube because YouTube was real heavy on the copyright algorithms that would, if you post a video with a copywritten song, maybe that section is blocked out. You can't monetize it, which is
yeah,
fine. I don't monetize any of my music. Um, I just want to express and get it out there. So people were already off of YouTube because of that, and whole videos would be just outright deleted. If there was just enough copyright. So people ran to Facebook Live, people ran to Instagram right when quarantine hit. Those cats started doing those heavy, heavy copyright algorithms. They'll shut your stream down. Um, you know, I don't know if you get account prison like you do in Facebook, but yeah,
oh yeah,
only a
yeah,
handful of. I don't know if it was like some deal they made or what, but people like DJ Spinna, who was at this Peachel would talk about somebody I think from DITC, and they would get like nonstop play. They could play whatever they want, but that was only given to a few people, and so the rest of the DJs couldn't even do that. Uh,
right,
Mixler
right,
is a great site because you pay for that subscription, but that allows you to play copyrighted music and not have your shows taken down. So people were using that, and then Twitch, which was actually a gaming. It was more for gaming. It's like the YouTube of gaming. You have your favorite
right.
person. You go to their channel. If they're live, you can watch them live. You can watch their highlights. And DJ Nocturnal, I'll give him credit for this, was one of the few people to say, "Hey, Instagram, looks like crap, you guys. You know, you all need to get on Twitch. You know, and he was saying that back like in 2016 or 17, you know, at the latest. And everybody at that point, including the audience, was ready to jump online and get their entertainment that way because the audience couldn't go out to clubs and bars and support their favorite DJs. And so Twitch was like a really good marriage. It has a great chat. You know, people could interact with the DJs, interact with each other, see DJs live. There's no real time limit on streaming. DJ Epic said he went for like 12 hours once. So yeah, that was just it just all the things lined up for that. The DJs had already the digital equipment set up. The people were ready for online entertainment, whereas that wasn't the case in 2016 or 17 when Nocturnal was, you know, advocating Twitch. So it just all kind of happened thanks to quarantine. Everything was in place for everything to go online.
I don't know if you remember this, but you remember Ustream
This
TV?
sounds familiar. Sounds familiar.
Yeah, I actually like when that whole thing that whole wave started to hit like this year, like I was like, oh shit, I used to stream back then. This was like 2012,
Whoa,
bro. Like
Ustream.
yeah. Yeah, Ustream. I don't know if it's still up there, but yeah, I recorded a few episodes of that. It's just kind of weird how it kind of came back
Yeah,
around and shit. But
big time.
but but yeah, man. You were talking about Twitch. You do a weekly show, right? Every Fridays. Talk about that a
Yeah,
little bit
my
more.
Colossal live at 5 every Friday, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And I do a 2 hour block of it's basically like a radio show. Honestly, no different than what I was when I talked about, oh, I'd get a grip of CDs and, you know, make
Yeah.
fake broadcasts. It's really now that with like a an audience. And
Yeah.
the emphasis of the show though is of course playing independent music. And if I play
Mhm.
something by like DJ P Soul or Neon Natives or Voice of Honey, it's because, you know, and unlike back in the day, you know, I just do a MP3 rip of, you know, whatever YouTube video they put out. But now
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
whole idea for the show is to support artists, not just by playing them. So I buy all the music from the artists that I play, you know, and make sure they get supported, support them by playing their great music on my radio show. So that's like one goal or intention of the show. And the other, of course, being, you know, to speak on, you know, like a basically a platform for people to process just what's happening in life right now. Quarantine's tough. In the
Hmm.
United States, a major increase of, you know, uh, racial violence and white domestic terrorism. They just like stormed like the Washington State House the other day, breaking windows and like pepper spraying police there. Like shit's nuts right now. And so
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
show not only allows me to kind of speak on what's happening, but allows the listeners to process it as well, you know, contemplate some thoughts and also speak
Hmm.
on it in the chat. So that's really the whole point of my Colossal's live at 5, and I try to also make it as super psychedelic as possible, not just with the music, but on my visual screen, because that's now another component DJs have to think about, you know, when they're performing online anyway.
Yeah.
I put up all sorts of like crazy cartoons and, you know, scrolling pictures of my head, and it just looks all like psychedelic. And that's just a kind of fun presentation and that I try to bring with my live at 5 show.
There you go. Live at 5 every
Yeah,
Friday, right?
yeah.
On
Oh yeah.
Twitch. So
Twitch
be sure to check them out.
twitch.tv
Yeah.
/ Mike Colossal, Colossal.
There it is. There it is. Yeah, check him out. Support the homie, man. Support the homie. He's trying to, not only play you the music, but give you something to think about and process at the same time. He's spreading his his knowledge and his
I
skills.
try.
online.
And it's
Yeah.
all free too, like I even if I do shows here in Sacramento that are in person, I always try to make them like charity events, so that people can get supported, or I try to do all ages free events so that anybody can enjoy it. And so I know not everybody has the internet or even fast streaming internet to catch all this, but I definitely just try to make it as free and supportive and available as possible.
That's what's up, man. And like I mentioned earlier during the show, like I met you like I said like at the different DJ
Yeah.
functions, and you know we always talk and say what's up to each other, and then um I always had a mad respect for you
Equally,
and stuff,
equally.
and um yeah, and then like I believe like last year, this was like
Yeah.
pre-COVID and everything. You reached out to me to do a gig out there in Sac, and I was like, hell yeah, like shit, I jumped on that opportunity, and it was what the Soul
Yeah,
Collective,
the global local
uh
mercado that Soul Collective puts on. That
yeah,
great to have you out there.
yeah, yeah. Talk about that a little bit. What made you do that, and how long were you or how long
Yeah,
you put
so
that together?
I definitely want to give credit where credit's due. Dea Montenegro, who was heading up, I don't know the exact role at Soul Collective at that time, but Dea was, I don't know, like an event planner basically. And even outside of Soul Collective, Dea hooked up some of my favorite and most fun, most big gigs. They got me like a Valentine's Day gig over at the Crocker Art Museum here in Sacramento. There was another block by block party or something like that, where each district would have like a neighborhood block party where all artists from that neighborhood, whether it was DJs, a church choir, school marching band, they were all in that district and they all performed, and there was like so many activities for free activities for families and individuals. So Dea and I have been in that kind of work and community work. So about not the year before you got there, but 2 years before you got there is when we started doing global local mercado. uh, it's
Hmm.
a great event where independent vendors who make soaps or handmade clothing or handmade art, they get a little booth, and it's like a awesome boutique style pop up. And one time, like 3 years ago or 2 years before you got there, I did that gig and I said, this is great, let me know anytime. And I think Dea was like, oh yeah, yeah, I don't want to keep hounding Mike, to DJ here. So I would get infrequent asks till finally I said, hey, if you're down, I got like a slew of DJs who I would love to have come out here, and I'm just not getting enough gigs to even bring out all the folks. So the year before you got there, we did a huge stretch of shows, especially during the holidays, because we wanted to provide alternatives to Black Friday and big store sales. We wanted to provide an independent, Black Friday. And then especially for the shopping Christmas holidays, or just that time of year in general, we wanted to provide
Yeah,
independent vendors a huge venue to get their stuff out there, and people can buy independent goods. So after that string of successful shows at the end of the year before you got there, the we were like, hey, the before COVID hit, we're like, okay, so this upcoming year, let's just do it all year. You got the music, we got the people ready and excited to vend, and the people excited about buying these and supporting these products and people. So the year you came, that was like our highlight year. Like we had, I think it was like one or two or something every month. I was having like eight
hmm,
DJs per show come through, and playing all independent or global music, and it was just like everything I ever wanted from a DJ gig. Freedom to play music,
yeah,
freedom to have like all the best DJs that would say yes, including yourself, Elvin, come through. And it all supported independent business, you know. And I was just like, this is a match made in heaven. So we did all that, and then boom, quarantine hit. So that was a big
Yeah.
loss, because the connections made there, and just that fun environment was magical. So
Right.
I'm
Right.
glad it happened. I'm glad you were a part of it, but boy, do I miss it.
Yeah. 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 Hopefully, that can um, you know, surface again when things open back up. Um, Hopefully sooner than later. But yeah, man, like I said, it was a lot of fun. It was cool to just get getting down on anything related to music, whether it's hip hop, turntablism type stuff. It was fun to just like, throw down a 30-minute set, and like I said, I'm in Stockton, so I'm like, I it didn't matter. I was like, when you said, hey man, are you down? I was like, hell yeah. I mean, and you know what I'm saying? Like I know you, so I was like, I was like, hell yeah, I'm gonna head out there and
Yeah,
support the
I
homies, man.
just found that picture of us the other day too. There was like, I think, a bunch of Facebook posts or something that I forgot to accept the tag I was in. So I got a good one of you, me, and Luke
Yeah.
Scratchwalker, because I think he was out there that day too. So I'll
Oh
like
yeah, yeah,
I'll
yeah.
send you that in your DM so you could, enjoy that with your family.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. Um, so yeah, man. I like I said, like I follow you on the different social media uh, outlets and stuff, and I noticed uh you put out something recently. I believe it's
Oh
a
yeah.
song that you did some cuts with local
Yeah.
artists. I believe.
Yeah,
Talk about
so
that a little bit.
I actually have two two main projects that just came out in December. So I'll take one of those each at a time, if that's cool.
Yeah,
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 so
yeah, for
the
sure.
one you're talking about is I do a lot of work with Mr. Peachill here in Sacramento. He's been doing music
Hmm.
since 1992, or he put out his first album on cassette with his group Two Dope in 1992. and
Hmm.
um and I think it was around, the early mid 2000s is when the Velvet Wax was running strong. That's when I met Mr. Peacho. So I'm always honored to add cuts to his music. And on December 11th, Mr. Peacho of 2020 put out a 7-inch. The A side is called "Diggin'," a Crate Digger's anthem. So there's like a YouTube video for that. I'm in it. Go ahead, check it out. And on the B side of that 7-inch is a song called "Millions of Militants," and it's featuring me, Mike Colossal. So I scratch Black. What's the Public Enemy song? "Black Steel in the Hour of Chaos," and it's like, because I'm militant, I'm a rebel, so I rebel. So
Oh yeah,
so,
yeah, yeah,
uh,
yeah,
so
yeah.
we made that record, and I added those cuts. And I'll kind of explain the song a little bit. Uh, Revolutionary hip hop music, Chuck D. For me, that is hip hop. I know Cash Money Millionaires could, technically be considered hip hop, or, Drake could technically be considered hip hop, or but the hip
Yeah,
hop that
yeah.
reaches me is the socially conscious. As soon as I heard Chuck D said Elvis never meant shit to me, f him and John Wayne. Like, when I heard that, I was just like, oh, this
Yeah.
is this is music. This is what I need to be about. And so not just musically, but Mr. Peachill and I in Sacramento do a lot of activism for our community, especially our Black community, African community, because in essence, in hip hop, I'm a guest. I'm Native American and Spanish, Mexican. Mr. Peachill's Caucasian, so we're guests in hip hop. Um, so if we are putting ourselves at the table, the guest table of hip hop, we also wanted to have our actions in line with what we talk about. So there was a string of police murders that were filmed, kind of starting with Eric Garner for selling a untaxed cigarette, and the chokehold "I Can't Breathe" that started all that. Um, so that reached Sacramento in the form there was already police killings here in Sacramento that were upsetting, hurtful, damaging to the people of with melanin in their skin here in Sacramento, with that kind of hatred. And then Stephon Clark happened during that Eric Gardner type. Um, it's terrible to say this, but there was just a huge slew of police murders being videotaped and outrage happening over it. And Stephon Clark happened in Sacramento. He was like, they were chasing someone who was breaking car windows, and they chased him into his grandma's backyard and killed him because the thing in his hand wasn't a gun, it was a cell phone. So me and Peachel, we stood face to face with riot guards who were telling us, "Oh, you can't protest, this killing. It's not anything bad. You need to get out of the streets." We were face to face with riot guards, and I actually have like some trauma, PTSD from that, to where if I try to go to events now to support, like that
Yeah.
fear is so strong that I can't even get out my front door. I'll have everything packed, I'll have all my clothes on, my
Mm.
teeth brushed, but that fear of standing up to institutionalized racism, institutionalized killing, sometimes doesn't even let me leave the door.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's
So
crazy.
fast
Yeah.
forward from Stephon Clark. Forgive me for not knowing what year that was. Maybe 2016, 2017. Um, Fast forward to today, and the George Floyd murder that was filmed. Me and Peachel were out in the silent protests. We were out in the there was like a car caravan because quarantine hit, and we couldn't do a mass protest. So there was a huge car caravan all the way from South Sac to the Capitol. And we were fucking, leading that shit at sometimes, like we were out there on the streets in solidarity for all of our community's safety, not
Yeah.
just African, not just indigenous, but all of our community safety. So we were hitting the pavement like that.
Hmm.
And when he asked me, when he told me, "Hey, I'm going to do this song," and I heard the lyrics, and I said, "Yes, this song is everything that I want, you know, to hear about what's happening politically." And I asked, "Hey, can I think actually he offered, he's like, "Hey, do you want to do cuts?" And I was like, "Fuck yeah, I want to do cuts. Let's do these cuts." So he suggested the "I'm a rebel, so I rebel." And then as I was listening through the
Hmm.
song for other cuts, I found that "because I'm militant." So those became the two phrases I used on that song. And yeah, that's
Yeah.
how the Peach Hill project came about. And the full album that comes out on, it's called Life Living in Fragile Environments, comes out January 29th. And you can go to mrpeachill.bandcamp.com, MRPCHILL, and it has that 7-inch. It has a pre-order for Life. It could be digital or on vinyl. So that we just got the test pressings. We're gonna do a little listening session later. And yeah, so that's one of the big projects
Yeah.
that I was thankful to be a part of this year.
There you go, man. Go and check that out. MrPeachhill.com.
.bandcamp.com.
Bandcamp.com. Go check it out, man. Support the homie, and what what they're trying to do, and during these crazy times, just dropping knowledge and consciousness in the music. Um, it's local music. It's conscious music. Just
Thank you.
go hit them up,
And
support them.
and the
Yeah, man.
yeah, the
Go ahead.
other
Yeah,
the
go
other
ahead. Go ahead.
project I contributed to was Big Sammy out of Woodland 530. Big ups to my Yellow County hip hoppers um and DJs. So Big Sammy had a radio show on KDVS that was a college radio show that I could get here in Sacramento on the radio. And that and DJ Riff Raff's Open Sleep were like the premier hip hop shows of underground, turntablism, freestyle, all that.
Hmm.
And this year, Big Sammy put out an album, Woodland High, and it basically chronicles his whole life. He's been through a lot as a person. Done dirt, done juvie. You know, with the grace of hip hop, and this is his words. Hip hop saved him, and so in this album Woodland High, he basically chronicles his whole childhood growing up, and I have two beats on there. So one of
Yeah.
them is called "We In," and oh, I forget the other one. It's called like Dippers. Oh, I got the album around here
Hmm.
somewhere. But I have two tracks on there where I provided the beats, and I enjoyed those beats. But to hear him, Big Sammy, tell the story on top of those beats, it really brought another breath of life to that music. And so go to,
Right.
it's called Cold Twelvers, Twelvers. Go to cold12ers.com and you can find the Big Sammy album and all that merch on there. And yours truly, Mike Colossal, has a couple of productions on there that I'm pretty proud of.
Bam. There it is, man. Go check that out, y'all. Cold12ers.com. Like I said, man, hit up the website and again, support the homie. He's doing good
Thank you.
things
Thank you.
and big things. So, yeah. Before we wrap it up, Mike, like I said, I appreciate you for coming on the podcast. Totally salute you
Thank you.
and what you're trying to do, and man, continue success and what you're
I
doing.
try every day, and to be honest, to have good people in my community like you that not only support, but I'm able to support as well, and enjoy your podcast that you're putting out. It's an honor to be in this community, entertainment community, music community. Yeah, equally, it's an honor.
Yeah, yes, sir. Before we wrap it up, man, I got these three questions that I always ask my guests. It's like one of my favorite, I guess, segment, of the podcast.
Shoot
But
'em.
three questions, brother. You can answer them all, or you can pass, or answer one. Either way,
Fire away. I
it's your
got them all.
choice. But I'll yeah, yeah. I'll break down the questions. Okay. The first one, question one, is aliens or Bigfoot, and number two, if you weren't DJing, what
Oh,
what else would you be doing? That's number two. And number three, what is your go-to food?
oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like we're in this crazy time, so if you had to survive on something for like a couple weeks or a month, like
Yeah.
what is your go-to food? So yeah,
Yeah, allow me to
what do you
take
want
all
to do, my
three.
man?
So the first
Yeah.
is, I don't know if you're saying do they exist or do I prefer them, but the answer is aliens. There was a time where my brother Rob Fatal and I
Hmm.
were walking our dogs, and we saw three just white dots. Almost they look as small as stars in the sky, but they were closer, and they all started flying towards each other, and we thought we were going to see like a plane crash or something because they were going directly to the same focal point. But the three dots, they
Yeah.
stopped in a perfect triangle in the middle of the sky, which is crazy because I don't know of a helicopter that goes high up that can be stationary, or an airplane that can be stationary. But there they were, those three dots were in the sky, formed in a triangle, and then the thing started revolving clockwise as a perfect triangle for like hecka revolutions. Then it stopped, and then each of those kind of dots went back to its same direction that it came from. And it freaked the crap out of my brother and I. We were right on the same street as our house. So because of that experience, I answer aliens. Yeah.
Boom. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Question two.
Oh
If you
yeah.
weren't DJing,
So
what
so
would you be doing?
thankfully, I am already doing what I wouldn't be doing if I was DJing, which is supporting my community. I do a lot of mental health work and assess people living in homelessness shelters, linking them up to mental health services that they want. And if they're so severe enough, um, sometimes the programs that I link them to can come with housing and things like that. So so it's a real honor
Yep.
to do what I the two things that I love, which is, supporting my community and DJing. But if I didn't have any of that, I love doing math,
Yeah.
and I would love to teach my. That's mathematics, not mathematics. I
Yeah.
love math. um, but
Oh man. Let's make that clear, y'all. Let's
I've
make that
dabbled. No,
clear.
I'm just kidding. But I would love to be a mathematician and be able to uh, be a amateur theoretical physicist and just oh yeah, I could write my own you know space shuttle trajectory to the moon, with all the yeah, I just want to be able to
Quantum
do that.
physics, law of gravity. Oh my God.
Yeah,
Space time continuum. Watch
I
out,
want to
y'all.
be
He's
able
coming.
to
He's
surf a
coming.
black hole, and I need a propulsion system to allow me to do that. No, I don't know.
There you go. Question 3.
Oh yeah.
What is your go-to
I
food?
make big ups to Soul Collective once again. They had a lot of cooking classes, and so I got the foundations of learning how to make my own chilies and broths, like soup broth. And man, my go-to food now, I'll do a 24-hour simmer on all these superfood veggies and like immune system ingredients like garlic and ginger, and I'll simmer all those things together for like 24 hours to make this really super nutritious veggie broth. And man, I'll drink that every morning for breakfast like people do coffee. But the difference is there's no crash. It's all
Hmm.
nutrients. I'm hydrated, and like I'm jacked, I'm ready to go when I have that. And then it's not really till
Yeah.
like 2, 3, 4 p.m. that my body's like, okay, um, let's get some solid food now. But homemade 24-hour
Yeah.
veggie broth, that's my go-to.
Hmm. All right. That's what's up, man. I appreciate you answering the questions,
Anytime,
my brother.
anytime.
That's what's up. Yeah. So all right, but we're gonna wrap it up soon. So where can they find
So
you
my name is
online?
Mike Colossal, Colossal, and just Google that. I have a Facebook page for that artist, but my Instagram is a lot more active, and of course my Twitch channel, which is linked in my Instagram, twitch.tv/Mike Colossal. That's where I stream every Friday live at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Mhm. There it is, y'all. There it is. Like I said, man, support the homie. Go check him out on his Twitch. Follow him on his IG, Facebook, and or Google his name, and his name will pop up, and it'll take you to his direct link, and he's doing good stuff. Uh, I, Mike, bro, I appreciate you being on. It was a lot of fun.
Heck yeah, you're welcome. It's an honor,
Thank you, my
Elvin.
brother.
Anytime, I got you.
Yes, sir. Um, yeah. For my stuff, y'all. Go check out Where's My Damn Podcast. That's streaming everywhere right now as we speak. It's on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. So, share that shit. Support me, support the podcast, support my guests, and we're all about just having fun and spreading
Yeah.
knowledge and love to the masses, man. Yeah,
All right,
Mike.
Elvin. Peace.
Talk
Thank
to
you,
you
all you
soon, brother.
listeners. Take care.
Cheers.